Oh, hello everyone. Two trades to go over this morning. Currently down about $100. Not the best trading, to be honest, for me this morning. I'll get into that right away, really. So the first stock that I took a loss on was MNTS. So I, this had a nice big run on Friday, and I had a thesis on this that was correct, and I didn't take the trade because I was looking at something else. Um, I liked that it was gapping over one, and then I had a pullback. And before the market opened, I like to play these off 90 cents. So I was hoping it would have a drop to 90 cents because that's what I like to risk off. It did one better than that. It had a double bottom down here, and this low was 90 cents and 55. I don't know what you'd call them in the US, but it it tried to break down lower and it couldn't, and it reclaimed, and that is very, very bullish to me. And like I say, I had this as my thesis before the market opened, so I was a little bit gutted to see this 100% move from my entry. More than I wouldn't have held for that, to be honest with you. I probably would have sold probably half of it here and half of it here, but still, good to see that my thesis was correct. And this also had a contract with NASA, which is worth mentioning. I can't remember what the filings said. I think there was there was dilution, but still quite a strong sounding catalyst. But yeah, didn't trade that. But then today, so it had this big washout on Friday, and then I was looking at it today, and I still thought this could have a move off 90 cents, or off a book. So they tend to try and like to hold a book. Sorry, I'll just show you the daily chart just in case you're unsure. Kind of a breakout over this level, big run, and gave back a lot of its gains. So it did have a couple of bounces here on the way down, but it gave back pretty much the whole move. And sometimes what I've noticed is quite often when these stocks do have these, in this recent market at least, when these stocks do have these big moves and then give it all back in the afternoon, the next day they've been having a bit of a bounce. So I was that was part of my thesis, and the second part was it was still off a book. So I wanted to play this again off the 90 cents area ish, or probably this lower day here, but I sort of got into this at market open, and I just didn't set my risk correctly. My mentality wasn't quite right this morning in terms of like being mentally prepared. I knew I wanted to play it off 90 cents, and my price target was 130. Probably would have taken a piece off here as well. And thus far, it's done that. But what happened with me is I can't even remember where I entered. I think like 101, and then it broke, and then my risk wasn't clear enough in my mind, and I was trading scared. And so basically I was looking at level 2, which, awful sort of risking off level 2 with a listed stock, but I was trading scared, and that's what I did. And I risked, when I saw it putting the low of 95 and level 2 seemed firm, I risked off 95, which is just stupid, really. It's scared trading. Then when it had this little break, I sold. But really, if I was looking at it with fresh eyes, this little break here of 95, and it didn't really break any further, that's the buy indicator there. But I ended up losing $50 and then watching the trade work without me. So yeah, not ideal, not a great way to start the week, really. It is good that my theses on both days have been absolutely bang on, but sort of lacking a bit of self-belief, self-trust, I guess, trusting in my thesis and letting it play out however it unfolds. Whereas here I'm kind of entering, but not with no real conviction, and sort of trading scared and cutting early, and yeah, need a bit more self-belief and self-trust there. I'm okay taking the loss. I don't feel tilted or anything now, but just as when I'm in the trade, sort of, I become quite fearful that it's going to go against me. But in reality, I have to sort of accept that loss before it's happened. So that's MNTS. The second one was ARRI. The daily, I made money on this day, and then traded this really well on this day in terms of entries. There's a video lesson on that if you go back to Thursday, or when was it? Thursday, yeah. So today, kind of, I think I got a bit attached to the stock, to be honest with you. I kind of like the catalyst, and I thought maybe third day surge. Third day surge isn't really hot at the moment, so I'm probably hoping for it rather than believing it will happen. Third day surge, I need to get in risking off these lows here, really. It did offer a nice entry here. I didn't, I wasn't really I wasn't really prepared for that, missed all that. Was looking at it here, but I just doubted my thesis really, and then ended up getting in at 550 here when it poked through red green, and then got chopped up a bit here, and then added again, and then saw it come back on me and just cut and lost $50 on that one. This still might third day surge, but the lesson here for me is that I need to be buying towards the bottom of the range, really, because I bought here, and then when you see that go against you, your thesis still might be intact, but I become uncomfortable seeing my position go against me. Whereas if you enter on one of these dips, the risk reward's obviously better, and you're more likely to be in profit right away from a push rather than buying here and then holding for a pullback. So, and obviously here I'm buying towards the top of the range as well. So it was really kind of FOMO trading, emotional trading, and then to cut here, there's no real risk level there. Do you know what am I cutting? I'm cut off red green, really, but the spread was not massively wide, but quite wide. It's quite illiquid. So it can poke through red, green, green, red, and still work as I was hoping. But yeah, third day surge isn't sort of like that hot really anymore. But nevertheless, to give myself the best possible chance for this to work and for me to remain in it, I needed to buy towards the bottom of the range. Is what it is. Lost $100 today, this morning. Nothing else I'm really looking at the moment. Cheers.